I'm going to talk of controversial things, and I make no apology for this. It's a time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms intended for us by the Founding Fathers. James Madison said, "We base all of our experiments on the capacity of mankind for self-government." This idea that government was beholden to the people, that it had no other source of power, that it is still the newest, most unique idea in all the long history of man's relation to man. This is an issue of the election, whether we believe in our capacity for self-government, or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite and far-left people will plan our lives for the better, and that we can plan for them ourselves. You and I are told we must choose between a left or a right. But I suggest there is no left or right. There is only up or down. Up to man's age-old dream, the maximum of individual freedom consistent with order, or down to an ant-heap of total totalitarianism. Regardless of this sincerity, regardless of the left's sincerity, their humanitarian motives, those who would sacrifice freedom, have embarked on, let me turn the page, this downward path. The ancient Greek historian Plutarch warned, "The real destroyer of the liberties of the people is he who spreads among them bounties, donations, and benefits." The Founding Fathers knew a government can't control the economy without controlling the people. And it's no different for guns, and that's my line. And they knew when a government sets out to do that, it must use force and coercion to achieve its purpose, so that we have come to a time for choosing. Public servants say, always with the best intentions, what greater service could we render if only we had a little more money and a little more power? But the truth is that outside of its legitimate function, government does nothing well, or as economically, or even when it comes to this amendment, the Second Amendment. Absolutely, and I'm laughing back. Yet, anytime you and I question the schemes of do-gooders, we're denounced as being opposed to the humanitarian goals. It seems impossible to legitimately debate their solutions with the assumption that all of us share the desire to help the less fortunate. They tell us we're always against and never for anything. We are for aiding all of our allies who share our blessings and our goals. But we need a true tax system that will at least make a start towards restoring our children to the American dream, that wealth is denied to no one, that each individual has the right to fly as high and as far as their ability will take them. But we cannot have such reform while our tax policy is engineered by people who view the tax as a means of achieving changes in our social structure. We have the courage and we have the will and face to face up to discrimination of the progressive movement. 37 cents at the time of this speech, 37 cents of every dollar earned went to the government. Think about where it is now. Are you willing to spend time studying the issues, whether it's the Second Amendment issue or any other issue, and make yourself aware of those issues, and then conveying that information to family and friends? Will you realize that the doctor's fight against socialized medicine is your fight? We can't socialize the doctors without socializing the patients. Recognize that government invasion of public power is eventually an assault upon our businesses. If some among you fear taking a stand because you are afraid of reprisals, or even the government itself, recognize that you are just feeding the crocodile, hoping he will eat you last. If all of this seems like a great deal of trouble, think about what's at stake. We are faced with the most evil enemy mankind has known in his long climb from the swamp to the stars. There can be no security anywhere in the free world if there is no fiscal and economic stability within the United States. And that goes for the Second Amendment as well. They say the world has become too complex. I should change that. The left says the world has become too complex for simple answers. They are wrong. There are no easy answers, we know that. But there are no simple answers either. And that's exactly what this law is. We must have the courage to do what we know is morally right. Winston Churchill said that the destiny of man is not measured by material computation. When great forces are on the move in the world, we learn we are spirits, not animals. And he said, there is something going on in time and space, beyond time and space, that we can even comprehend. But like it or not, it spells duty. Finally, you and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We will not preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we will sentence them to take the first step into 1,000 years of darkness. If we fail, at least let our children and our children's children say of us that we were justified in our belief, in our moment here. We did all that we could, and we continue to. Thank you, and God bless America.